everyone. At the beginning of any small group, it really helps for everyone to be on the same page for what they expect from the group. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's that no group is the same. Think about it. What are groups made of? People. And people are different. Different schedules, personalities, expectations, values, even their snack and food preferences. This means that every group develops their own identity. In this session, Chris Shepard, the college pastor at Brazos Fellowship, is going to talk about your group's identity. For the next few minutes, he'll share some personal experience from groups and discuss the importance of establishing your group's core values, logistics, and expectations.
What's up, everybody? My name's Chris, and I've been a part of a small group at Brazos Fellowship for almost 10 years. And I just want to say from the very beginning, I love small groups. What you are embarking on is so worth it. All of our groups exist because we want you to have an environment where you can pursue healthy relationships and spiritual growth. And your group has the same vision and goal as every other group, but that doesn't mean that every group looks exactly the same. Groups are made up of people, and people are unique. So every group is going to be unique, which means that every group needs to develop its own identity. Now, a couple of unique things about the group that I'm in right now is that we all have kids under 6 years old. So family is huge in our group. Another thing that is unique to our group is that we share a meal together every single week. Now, our group's identity didn't form overnight, and honestly, neither will yours. But it's important to begin to have conversations now that will help shape who and what your group will become over time. And honestly, there may be times when your group identity changes course a little bit to adjust for changing seasons of life. The first group that I was a part of at Brazos Fellowship, it was full of fairly newly married couples with 0 kids. Now, as we began to have kids, as you can imagine, it affected the way that we did group. Our identity changed. It wasn't better or worse, it was just different because we were moving into a different season. There are several parts of your group's unique identity that you can and should start talking about now. It's important to talk about and begin to establish your group's core values, your group's logistics, and your group's expectations. So first, I want to talk about values. Every group needs to agree on a few core values. Those are qualities or standards that you all agree to abide by for the sake of each other. Things that should help everybody in your group have the best chance of developing a healthy relationship and growing spiritually. So as a group, discuss what are the things that are going to make it easy for us to pursue healthy relationships and to pursue spiritual growth. These might be things like confidentiality, authenticity, or respect. I know in our group, we make time for the guys to build relationships with the guys and for the girls to do the same. This has been so important for building trust and authenticity. And as we deepen our relationships with each other, we're more likely to open up and be real about where we are right now. And this is huge in the life of any group. As you talk about your group's values, it's important to define them so that everybody's expectations are in alignment. And if somebody in your group doesn't live up to one of these values, there can be some built-in accountability because you've already had this discussion. But that's also a great opportunity to take steps forward in regards to growing in community with each other. You'll have the chance to forgive, to be patient, and to love each other. Okay, next let's talk about logistics. As a group, you'll have the opportunity to establish your own rhythms when it comes to logistics, and these might shift and evolve, especially over the first few months. But you can start to talk about those rhythms by asking the question, are we going to be the kind of group that has a meal every time we meet? Or do we just want to have snacks and coffee? Are we going to be the kind of group that meets every week or meets every other week? The kind of group that plays games, that meets at the same house or rotates? The kind of group that goes to the movies once a month or goes bowling? Are we going to be the kind of group that sits together at church on Sunday morning? And there's dozens of other things that will come up. My group meets every week. Most of the kids are with the babysitters in one house, and it's so fun to hear my daughters get excited about how they get to go to small group each week, just like mommy and daddy. Now, this rhythm works for us, but it may not work for you. And when the summer hits, we usually change things up. We don't meet every week, but we still do life together. Sometimes we create a kickball team and play in a league. Other times we pair up with another couple and have date nights. The summer is a great time to switch things up and keep it fresh. Now, while we're talking about logistics, now would be a great time to talk about how your group wants to handle childcare if you have kids. We know that this can be a big issue when it comes to group life, so it's better to talk about it now and make a plan than see what accidentally happens. My group talked about it and decided that what works best for us is to have all of the kids at one house while the parents meet at another house nearby. Now, I get it. I know it's not feasible for every group, but it has been great for us. Other groups leave it up to each individual family to find a sitter, and many of those families use the child care reimbursement offered by Brazos Fellowship, and that helps offset the cost of a babysitter. We have some couples groups that occasionally have a season where the men will meet together every other week to go through a study, and the women will meet together every other week to go through a study. This way, one of the parents can stay at home with the kids for the length of a study. There are a lot of creative ways to approach childcare. But the most important thing is that you talk about it and you come up with a plan as a group. There's a guide in your book to help you start your conversation about group logistics tonight. But it's a good idea if you pull that back out and revisit it every once in a while to see if anything needs to change. Now, finally, as a group, it's important for you to talk about your expectations. Chances are a lot of you signed up to join a group for different reasons. And there's nothing wrong with any of those reasons, but if you assume that everybody joined for the same reason that you did, honestly, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration. And so tonight, talk about why. Why did you join a group? What are you hoping to get out of this experience? As a church, our hope is that you will connect with other people and hopefully that you'll develop healthy, meaningful relationships that are going to help your faith to grow and to help your love for others grow as well. And so as you have a conversation about what you're hoping to get out of small group, think about those things and how they can move you further, faster in your spiritual growth. In the group that I'm a part of, we've decided to be really intentional about creating community with each other. And for us, this means sharing a meal together each week. We take turns pairing up with another couple, and we prepare food for the whole group. But we also work hard to be close outside of our group meeting. Some of our kids are in the same daycare. Others have mom dates, and the guys get together occasionally just to hang out. We want it to feel like family when we're at group. But honestly, it takes work. But here's the best part. It is so worth it. Some of my best friends have come from groups that I've been involved in here through Brazos Fellowship. Tonight, as your group talks about what it means to be us, have fun with it. Be honest about your hopes and your expectations, and then really take time to listen and empathize with where everybody else is. And as a group, be creative as you talk and you begin to figure out what your group's identity needs to be. You're embarking on a beautiful, life-giving journey, and if you'll put in the work, the results will amaze you.
During your conversation tonight, you'll have the chance to talk about your group's unique identity. We hope you'll have fun with this conversation as you discuss your group's values, logistics, and expectations. Ultimately, we hope this group becomes a safe environment for you to pursue healthy relationships and spiritual growth. At this point, you can stop the video and use the discussion questions in the Begin guide to help start your conversation.